All right, let's jump right in. You know how we always think that to really change your life, you need some huge, life altering decision? A big, dramatic moment? Well, what if that's completely backward? What if the greatest lives aren't built on those big moments at all, but on tiny, almost invisible habits? That's what we're diving into today. 5 really profound ideas from Japanese philosophy that can quietly but powerfully change everything from the inside out.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to debunk this myth of big change. Then we'll get into the good stuff. Habits for creating that gentle forward momentum, without burning out. We'll talk about reconnecting with our body's own wisdom. And finally, how to build that quiet inner strength. And by the end of this, I promise, you're going to have a solid toolkit to start making these shifts in your own life.
Okay, you know that feeling, right? You're standing at the bottom of this massive mountain and you're thinking, I want to change everything. I want to be healthier, more productive, happier, the whole shebang. But the goal just seems so huge, so overwhelming that you just freeze. You don't even know where to start. And that all or nothing mindset, that's exactly why so many of our best plans just fizzle out. And that brings up this question. Have you ever met someone who just seems to move through life with this calm energy? They're grounded, they're focused, but they're not forcing anything. They're not necessarily richer or luckier than anyone else, but their life just seems to work. There's this balance, this peace. So what's their secret? I'll tell you right now, it's probably not what you're thinking.
Here it is, the secret. It's not one giant leap. It's a series of small, consistent steps. Tiny little habits that, honestly, on their own, might feel like they do nothing. But over time, man, they compound. They start to shape your mind, your character, and your entire future in the most incredible way.
All right, so let's get into our first set of habits. This is all about creating that forward momentum, finding your direction and actually making progress without totally burning out. And we're going to start with 2 really powerful ideas, Kaizen and Ikigai.
So, first up, Kaizen. This is such a simple, beautiful idea. Instead of trying to reinvent your whole life by next Tuesday, you just focus on improving one tiny thing every single day. That's it. Not a huge overhaul, just one tiny, manageable step forward.
But why does this actually work so well? Well, it's not just about the little improvement itself. It's about building what you could call identity momentum. Think about it. Let's say you want to start exercising. The thought of a 1-hour workout, that feels massive. But what about doing just one push-up today? I know, it sounds kind of silly, but your brain loves it. It's an easy win. It slips right past all that mental friction, that voice that says, I'll do it later. See, small habits compound over time, while those big, scary habits, they usually collapse under their own weights. So the real magic here is the shift in your question. Instead of asking, how do I change my entire life? You just ask, what's the smallest possible action I can take today? It's a total game changer. You stop staring up at that impossibly huge mountain and you just look down at your feet and take one single step. That's Kaizen. It's not about intensity, it's all about consistency. And that is how you start to grow, without all the stress and the force. Okay, so Kaizen is the how. Now let's talk about the why. So many of us wake up with this quiet emptiness, right? It's not exactly sadness, it's more like a nagging feeling that you're missing a sense of direction. Like you're alive, but not really living. Well, the Japanese have a word for this missing piece, ikigai. It's your reason for being. And listen, it's not about your job title or what other people expect from you. It's that one thing that makes you actually want to get out of bed in the morning. So how do you find it? Well, it's often found where these 4 things overlap. First, what do you absolutely love to do? Second, what are you actually good at? Third, what does the world out there really need? And fourth, what can you get paid for, to make a living? But here's the most important part, okay? You don't need to have all the answers right this second. Think of this as a compass, not a detailed map. And that's a huge relief, isn't it? Your ikigai isn't something you just stumble upon one day like, poof, there it is. No, it's something you cultivate. You follow those little sparks of curiosity, the things you love, the things that make you feel alive, and you just see where they take you. It's about following the spark, not the pressure. It's a journey that's completely, uniquely yours. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the mind, but what about the body? Our next idea is all about building that bridge between the two with a really simple practice for physical wisdom.
So, in Okinawa, which is famous for being one of the healthiest places on earth where people live for a very long time, there's this phrase they say before meals, hara hachibu. All it means is eat until you're 80% full. Simple, right? It's a reminder not to eat until you're stuffed, but just until you're satisfied, not heavy. And this one little habit, it's been linked to everything from slower aging to having way more energy.
And this contrast is huge because, let's be honest, most of us eat on autopilot. We clean our plate just because it's there, we eat when we're stressed, we totally ignore the signals our body is sending us. Harahachibu is the complete opposite of that. It's about slowing down, actually putting your fork down between bites, and listening for that quiet little signal from your body that says, hey, I'm good, I'm comfortable.
So I want to be really clear here. This is not a diet. It's not about restriction or counting calories. It's mindfulness, just disguised as eating. It's all about reconnecting with your body's own amazing wisdom and just respecting it. And when you do that, your body thanks you for it with better digestion, way more energy, and just a lighter feeling overall. All right, on to our final pillar, building inner strength. Because let's face it, life gets tough. We all have moments that feel heavy, that are just plain painful. These next two ideas are about building resilience through that, a quiet, powerful way to get stronger without getting bitter.
First up is gaman. This is the art of enduring hardship with patience, with calmness, and with real self-control. It's about meeting difficulty head-on, but with a steady, patient heart.
And the mindset here is so important. Gain Men is not about bottling up your emotions or pretending everything's fine when it's not. It's actually the exact opposite. It's about looking at the pain square in the face and saying, yes, this is hard, this is real, but I will not let this break me. It's this quiet, powerful, internal resolve.
And when you practice gaman, something amazing happens. You start to build this incredible emotional strength. You learn to be patient with discomfort instead of just running away from it. You gain this discipline, even when things feel messy. You learn the wisdom of not wasting energy on things you can't control. You become grounded, stable, unshakable. You're literally turning pain into resilience.
And that leads us perfectly into what I think is one of the most beautiful ideas out there, kintsugi. It's the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery. Say, when a bowl or a vase breaks, they don't just toss it out. They painstakingly piece it back together, and they fill the cracks with gold. The result? The repaired piece is now more beautiful, more valuable, and more unique than it ever was before it was broken. But of course, this isn't really about pottery, is it? It's about us. We all have our cracks, the heartbreaks, the failures, the moments that broke us. And the wisdom of kintsugi tells us that these cracks, they are not things to hide or be ashamed of. They are not your weaknesses. In fact, they are the very places where your strength grows. They are the places where the light gets in. See, healing doesn't mean pretending the past didn't happen. It means honoring it. You fill those cracks with gold, with the wisdom you've gained, with courage, with grace. And your scars, they become proof that you were broken, yes, but you healed and you are now stronger and more beautiful because of it. So as you can see, none of these 5 habits are loud or flashy. They're not about overhauling your entire life by tomorrow morning. They ask for something way smaller, but also way more powerful. Just small steps, a little bit of awareness, tiny daily choices. So here's your blueprint for that quiet transformation. You've got Kaizen for continuous improvement, Ikigai for finding your reason to wake up, Hara Hachibu for mindful eating, Gaman for patient endurance, and Kintsugi for turning your scars into gold. This is your toolkit for a quieter, stronger, and way more meaningful life. Look, you don't have to do all of these at once. That's the whole point, right? Just pick one, whichever one resonated with you the most today. Because your life doesn't change when you finally do everything perfectly. It changes the moment you decide to just begin. So the only question left is, which tiny habit will you start with?